What's up everybody, it's KelseeBrianaJai, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Manny MUA collaboration palette with Makeup Geek. I'm very excited to be reviewing this palette today on my channel. This palette has been super hyped up. I know a lot of people are interested in knowing my thoughts on this palette, so let's just go ahead and dig into it. So let's just go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. Actually getting this palette was a huge pain in the butt. I ordered this palette on February 23rd and it released, I believe, 4 o'clock Central Time. So I'm on Central Time, so it released 4 o'clock Central Time, and I was on my phone, computer, iPad, my boyfriend's phone, and a plethora of other electronic devices from 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock that night, or really 10 o'clock that night, trying to get my hands on this palette. I had given up several times. I tried consistently for about an hour and a half before I was just like, this is wasting my time. I'm not getting through. I looked online to see like what everybody was saying. Had anybody successfully placed an order? I saw a slew of just like people just angry and mad that they weren't able to get the palette. And Marlena, who is Makeup Geek, she's the founder of the company. She also is a fellow YouTuber. She ended up tweeting about the incident, saying how she apologized, but she's adding more servers. I guess they really did not expect the commotion that ensued when they said that this palette was going to release at this time. So I understand that, and I understand that he's a popular YouTuber, so there's going to be a large amount of people on the website refreshing it at the same time, making it crash. But girl, when I tell you, this was the most stressful makeup release pretty much I've ever went through, and I was there for Briana. So, and that was hell on wheels. I was able to get the palette, and I am excited about that. So let's go ahead and talk about the packaging. When I first saw the packaging, the first thing that came to my mind was Sailor Moon. I'm a 90s baby. This looks like Sailor Moon to me. And when I watched Manny MUA's video, he did say Sailor Moon was a huge inspiration for the aesthetics of the palette, and I was like, I get it. So also on the back there's a picture of him. It's a really nice photo and a few quotes, and it has like a little mission statement, if you will, saying about the collaboration and pretty much how he picked it, and some of his favorite shades are in the palette. So the palette is a great size. I actually really like the size of this palette. It's small and compact and sleek, so it's not going to take up too much room. It does have 9 full-size eyeshadows in there, so I really like how sleek this palette is. And it also has a mirror, which I always hate when eyeshadow palettes do not have mirrors. Like, I don't understand how you can make an eyeshadow palette and not have a mirror. I'm just saying, I always feel like that's just wrong and you shouldn't do it. It just should be against the law. I'm just saying. So this is the palette. It has a really pretty raised silver embossing on it, and it has Makeup Geek's name on it. It does not have Manny's name on the front, which I kind of thought was strange, but it does have his name on the back, and then it has the shade names. It also has who it's distributed by, and then it tells where it's made in. Actually, I thought this was really interesting that this palette is actually made in Jackson, Mississippi. Just a random fact for you guys. But this is the actual palette here. I really like the color story. The way that the palette is arranged is really pretty, in my opinion. This palette is full of neutral eyeshadows with a few, well, with 2 fun pops of color. So this is a good palette to take with you guys if you are traveling. I personally have to have options, so I just wouldn't take this palette, but you could take this palette and get away with doing a lot of different looks where it doesn't look like you've been wearing the same eyeshadow. So this is a good traveling palette. It has a good mix of matte eyeshadows, satin eyeshadows, and also the foiled eyeshadows. This is my first time ever using a Makeup Geek eyeshadow, so I was really interested to get them, and I thought that this was a good value because this palette was $45 and it comes with 9 eyeshadows, so that breaks down to being $5 in eyeshadow. If you break down the value of this palette, I think it equals up to a little bit more. I believe her regular eyeshadows are $6 or $7 for like the matte or regular ones, and then the foils ones are $10. This eyeshadow palette, like I said, it has 9 shades in it, and of the 9 there are 3 shades that are permanent and that are always in her line, and they are as follows: Beaches and Cream, which is this color right here, and then Cosmopolitan, which is this color, and then Frappe, which is this color. So those are colors that Manny chose from the permanent lineup and selected for his palette. And then other than that, these are other shades that have been custom made for him. This color right here is called Insomnia, and this is actually a loose pigment that he requested be pressed into an eyeshadow form for his palette, and it is absolutely stunning. So overall, I used this eyeshadow palette to do this tutorial, which you can watch this tutorial following this video. I will have it up sometime soon after this video, where I used a lot of these eyeshadows in the palette. I didn't get to use all of them, but I did use, I believe, 6 out of the 9, so you can kind of see how they perform. But I also did swatches on these eyeshadows just so you guys can see what they look like. So when I swatched them, I compared them to other eyeshadows that I had in my collection, and honestly, this eyeshadow palette was a little bit harder to dupe than I initially thought it was going to be. Believe it or not, I really thought that I was going to be able to just go in and just really dupe these eyeshadows, but honestly, a lot of them are a little bit more unique. Even if they are neutral eyeshadows, they have a different type undertone, different color payoff than some of my other neutrals that I really thought that they were going to be close to. So of these, my favorites definitely are the foiled eyeshadows. I feel like Makeup Geek just really knocks it out of the park with the foiled eyeshadows. The matte eyeshadows are nice too, but the foiled eyeshadows are just really exceptionally buttery. I can tell a good eyeshadow just right off bat. Like, I don't have to keep using it for 2 months to know if it's a good eyeshadow. I can swatch it and be like, that's a good eyeshadow. So I swatched the foiled ones. I pretty much have formed an opinion that these are pretty good eyeshadows. I will note that this one right here, when you touch it, it feels gritty, like almost like sand or something. It's just hard, and I tried to scrape some off. Like, the color payoff is really intense and rich. This one is Mars, but the way it feels, the texture of it, the way it feels, it's just really gritty. It's a weird feeling. I would think that this would be just super soft, and it's not, I guess. And also, this one is not really my favorite eyeshadow because this one is called Aphrodite. This one's not really my favorite. I felt like it was a little bit patchy and it kind of skipped a little bit. I used it here. I felt like it was a little bit drier than the other eyeshadows, but other than that, the other eyeshadows in this palette performed great. I really loved every single one of them, with the exception, I don't love these. I don't dislike them, but I don't love them on the same level as the other ones. So my favorites in this palette are, of course, this one right here. This one is Luna, and then obviously I love Insomnia, but you guys are going to be able to see swatches where I compared these eyeshadows to other eyeshadows that I have in my collection. Things that I thought that maybe would be either A, really close, or B, even dupes. If you're not able to get your hands on this palette, then see what I think are close comparisons and then see if you have any of that in your collection, because I feel like on a lot of these colors, even though they may not be dupes, they may be close enough to where if you actually put it on your eyes as eyeshadow, it will pass. So make sure you check that out and stay tuned for swatches. Also, I will be letting you guys know when this palette restocks on my Instagram. So as soon as if I find out when this palette restocks, I will post it immediately on my Instagram for you guys to be able to go and try to check out and get this palette. My Instagram handle is the same as my YouTube handle. Everything is KelseeBrianaJai. If you're looking for me and you put in KelseeBrianaJai, girl, you're gonna find me. Overall, I give this palette a thumbs up. I really like it. I feel like it's a great value. So if you're able to get your hands on it, I would definitely say pick it up because it is good. But if not, don't cry yourself a river, because at the end of the day, it is a neutral eyeshadow palette with 2 pops of colors. And you can make that, girl. We can go to Sephora and we can make us a palette. Like, don't cry, don't fret about it. But if you can't get your hands on it, go ahead and do it. I say Definitely don't spend 10 hours doing it like I did. Like, I mean, it's a good palette, but girl, people do have jobs. I'm just saying. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you stay tuned for swatches. And if you got this palette, let me know your thoughts on it. If you do want to see me do more looks on this palette, then let me know down below in the comment section. And I will talk to you guys later. Smooches!